Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video on the channel where today we have got how to get more points in squad battles on Ultimate. So if you want to see more of these, make sure you use your thumbs up, make sure you hit that subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel. Like in the previous video, if you've seen that one, we did do this for how to beat it on Legendary, and in this case we're going to be doing it on Ultimate and just sort of showing you sort of the best methods and the best ways to go about beating it out on Ultimate, because the AI this year is incredibly difficult. And so I'm going to be showing you the best ways, but this is the team that I'm going to be using. So it's a good team and not an amazing team. These are the tactics that I'm using with this exact formation. I don't change formation in game, so if you do want to copy this, these are my instructions, these are my tactics that I will be using, and this is the team that I'll be using. So this is what I found to be most effective for me. It's the way that I play in FIFA this year, and it seems to work very well for me. As I said, going through on the screen, you can see my instructions. I'm using my two fullbacks going on overlap, my two midfielders on edge of the box and covering the centre, Havertz on stay on edge of the box, and then Werner on stay central and get in behind, and Dembele and Sancho are also on to get into the box as well, because I want them scoring goals and getting behind using that pace. But yeah, this is going to be showing you how to get more points on Ultimate. It's difficult. The first things first, it's very, very difficult to beat the computer anyway, and to even consider trying to beat the computer on AI, you need to have a very good idea of how to beat the computer on Legendary, first and foremost. And going into it, you only want to be taking teams like this on Ultimate. These really crap teams, that have a couple of golds and the rest of them are bronze. The sort of like 65 rated teams with 50 chem, they're the only teams you want to be taking on Ultimate. If you try and take on like a 100 chem 80 rated team, even though it doesn't sound great, it's only 80 rated, you try and take that on, the AI will just pass around you. These are the sorts of teams you want to try and take on and get a couple of bronzes easy, a few players out of position. These are the sorts of teams you want to be trying to take Ultimate on, and if you can get a 4-0, a 5-0, a 5-1, a 4-1, you're going to be looking at upwards of 2,800, anywhere from 2,800 to sort of 3,100 points. It's just going to give you that extra little edge, and it means that if you can do this consistently, on 6 or 7 of your sets, it means you're going to have to play less games if you're just someone who's going to try and get Elite 1 or something. But I found that with this play style, the way I play and the tactics and just how I've set everything up, this for me is what's been the most effective way, because I'm now capable to beat the AI on Ultimate sort of 4-0, 5-1 against these lower rated teams. So if you follow the sort of things that I'm talking about in this video, I'm sure you guys will be able to do the same. But it is tough. You need to have a good understanding of how to beat the AI first and foremost on Legendary. If you can't even beat the AI on Legendary, why would you even attempt to tackle it on Ultimate? So you need to have you need to be able to beat on Legendary. You need to be able to win 5-0 on Legendary against pretty much any team, because you'll see through this game how the AI plays and how they just seem to read every pass, and just how they seem to make lots of saves. The keeper, not a great save there from Havertz, but the AI is very, very good, even on Ultimate, and even with some of these lesser players, it's incredibly good at holding possession. It's very difficult to get the ball off. It doesn't ever dive into tackles. It's just very, very difficult to get many opportunities against Ultimate, let alone on Legendary. So you need to have a good understanding of how to win on Legendary first and foremost before you even think about tackling Ultimate. So if you can't beat the AI on Legendary, make sure you go and check out my other video on how I did on exactly the same thing and how we beat Legendary, because that video will help you beat Legendary consistently, and then you can maybe come to this video if you start beating Legendary 4-5-0, you'll move on to this. But one of the most important things when you play on Ultimate, you need to really just let them attack down the wing. It's the same thing on Legendary, because the AI this year is just built to cross, which might sound strange considering how, as we all know, how underpowered crossing is. Crossing is really poor in FIFA. Every time we try and cross the ball and head it, even if we do get a clear header, they'll still smash it over the bar or they'll put it wide. But the AI just seems to always get their headers on target, so you just need to let the AI go out wide. They very, very rarely go through the middle, so you just need to let the AI go out wide and then just press and just pace abuse on the counter, because there are opportunities. If you let them come up the field and you try and counter, a lot of the time you will be sort of 3-on-2, 4-on-3, sort of like that. That's how I score my goals on Ultimate. It's not necessarily, you don't go and sit back and drop. You see my instructions, I don't sit back and drop. and let the AI come onto me. But if you let the AI go down the wing, a lot of the time they kind of really slow down when they get to the wing just before they cross the ball, so you can easily get a tackle in, and we get a penalty there with I think that was Dembele. I mean, the sort of things that the AI will still do, especially with these bronze players, they will make rash tackles like that, and you'll be able to get opportunities. Unfortunately, we actually missed the penalty, which at the time when I was playing the game, I was absolutely fuming. I just thought, God, squad battles. To me, it's weird because sometimes squad battles just feels like it's rigged. Like, I don't know, it's just crazy how that penalty green timed, and just, you know, I guess they just guessed the right way. But you know, it's very frustrating to play the computer this year, the AI. It's very difficult. But as I said, you wanna really try and target going down the wings. That's really your best way of trying to score goals. And you can see I don't have the best team. It's obviously going to be much easier to win on Legendary, on Ultimate, if you have better players. Now, that's not to say that if you had just a team that's got Neymar and Mbappe and and Messi and that all of a sudden you're just going to be able to win 5-0. If you're not a very good player at FIFA, just because you have a better team, it's not going to mean that you're going to get more results. But if you're a semi-decent player, like for me, for example, I finished goal 1 this week in Foot Champs, which is okay. I typically I'm an Elite 3 player, so it's slightly under what I'm used to, but I haven't got the best team. If I had a much better team, if I was able to massively improve my team this week and get some superstar players in there, I'd definitely be able to push for Elite 3. And it's about having that understanding of the game and how it works, and how you can sort of manipulate certain mechanics in your favour. And this year on Ultimate and this year on Squad Battles, there doesn't seem to be too many things to manipulate and too many things to abuse. Like in previous years, you'd abuse fake shots or low drivens, and you'd be able to easily score your goals. This year the AI is a lot better at sort of passing runs and controlling runs and stuff like that. Sometimes you need your keepers to make some great saves. That's why I've got Ter Stegen in goal. But overall, it's difficult. It's very difficult to win on Legendary, let alone try on Ultimate. So that's why I recommend only trying on sort of this lower rated, playing these low rated teams, these lower rated teams, because it's difficult to get goals. You can see 32 minutes in, we've not got any goals. Now we do eventually go on to get, I think it was 4-0 in this game, which I think bags us quite a tidy amount of points. So patience is required. You don't want to try and go, you can try and go gung-ho and go on like press on possession loss and that, but the AI is so good at passing the ball around this year that I think trying to go on a press, for me, I think is a bit futile. And we do actually get the goal there with Havertz, unlucky with Werder. But as I was saying, I think trying to go on something like press on possession loss or constant pressure, I think it's wasted. The reason why it's wasted is because if you play on, for example, Ultimate or Legendary on regular like I do, you'll understand that it's pretty futile, because regardless of who the AI is in control of, if it's in control of some bronze players, or if it's in control of some superstar gold players, it still passes the ball around irrespective of who it's using on the ball. It could be on a 55 rated bronze, or it could be on Kevin De Bruyne, and it will pass the ball around exactly the same. Like you cannot pressure the AI. So that's why you can see in my tactics in this video and in the last video, I didn't even try and go on press on possession loss or constant pressure or pressure on heavy touch, because the AI is just so good at passing the ball around this year that nine times out of 10 it will just play around your press, and you could possibly get countered. Now it's unlikely, because as I said, the AI only attacks you via the wings, so it doesn't really counter you. Whereas if it was a person and you're playing on press on possession loss or something like that, and they beat you, they're just going to go more direct. You can see the AI, every time it attacks, it just goes down the wing, cross, and then you can easily clear the ball. So you're never really under too much pressure in terms of conceding goals, because you can see the AI, it just cross, again, cross. I mean, just in the space of 10 seconds there, it's tried 3 or 4 crosses. It pretty much will only ever attack you down the wing. It will take the odd pop shot down the middle, but it's very, very easy to stop their attacks and not concede. You just need to let them go down the wing, and 9 times out of 10 your defender will win the header in the air. You can see at half time we're at 1-0. We could have had 2-0 with that penalty, so chances have been there. We've had a few chances with our players, but our tactic is working pretty well. You just have to be very patient. I don't find skill moves really are that effective either playing the AI, because when you play the AI against skill moves, they don't defend like a person. Like if you do a skill move on a person, you might sell them the wrong way, and then you've got a yard of space. On the AI, when you play the AI skill moves, they don't really work like that. You try a stop and turn, or you try a heel to heel flick. it doesn't sell the defender. They just kind of stay where they are, like it didn't affect them. So I don't find that skill moves are really that effective. I just think pass and move is the way you have to go. You have to be very patient on the ball. There's not, as I said, there's not really any like abusive mechanics to use. You know, there's not some secret mechanic that I'm going to tell you about that's going to all of a sudden be able to get you 5-0 like in previous FIFAs. As I said, you're able to sort of maybe abuse fake shots or low drivens or something like that, or maybe you get a couple of red cards on Ultimate. That was the way to do Ultimate in previous years, is you would just sort of stand back to goal, you'd get a couple of red cards, and then the computer would be down to 9 men, it would go attacking, and then you'd be able to get 5-0 easy. It doesn't work like that anymore. The AI is a lot smarter. They've developed it. In my opinion, I think it's possibly a little bit too difficult to possibly win. I mean, even on like Legendary, I think it's possibly a little bit too difficult. But especially on Ultimate, it's very difficult. You can see we're playing a pretty bang average team, and we're struggling really to create a lot of opportunities. We're getting a few opportunities, but we're not really taking them. As I said, this game does end up 4-0, so we score a lot of our games quite late on, sort of I think 80 minutes, we get 3 goals or something, maybe 2, but it's very, very difficult, as I said. But you've got to be very patient when you're passing the ball around. Pass and move really is the best medicine against the Ultimate. If you dominate the ball, if you sort of trap them in, sort of Man City, Liverpool style, if you trap them in their sort of final third and you just dominate the ball, eventually your chances will come. They're not going to be able to hold you out forever. And you just have to keep that constant pressure on the opponent. You could try press on possession also. You could try something like constant pressure. If maybe you're at this point in the game, like I am, and you're at sort of 60 minutes, and your players are still got a good amount of stamina, you could try constant pressure. There's no harm in doing that. As I said, it's very unlikely that AI is going to score. If they do score, it's not the end of the world. As long as you get 4 or 5 goals on Ultimate, you'll still bag yourself, you know, probably 27, 25, 2,800 points on a team like this. And as I said, we don't have the best team. We don't have a bunch of superstars. You know, we've had some good chances, for example, with Havertz, with Sancho. If those chances did fall to players like De Bruyne or Mbappe or Neymar, we probably would have scored more goals. So trying to use a lesser team on something like Ultimate is very difficult. We do get a goal there with Havertz, nicely worked by Sancho. You do get your opportunities, and the thing that you have to be when you play on Ultimate, you have to be incredibly clinical, because you do not get bucket loads of chances. You know, you play on Legendary on a team like this and you will win 9, 10, 11-0 with ease, and you could score more if you wanted to. It's just kind of you get bored a lot of the time, that's why you don't. But on Ultimate, you do not get that amount of chances. You've got to be very, very clinical. How you play on Ultimate is how you play on Legendary against some of the higher rated teams. You have to be very, very clinical. You don't get a lot of chances. You just got to make sure that you put them away. Unfortunately, well, we do actually get the goal there with Havertz. That was a little bit unlucky there with the cutback. I think the cutback should have made it through, but it didn't. But yeah, it's very difficult. As I said, we've been patient in this game. We've not changed our tactics. We've stayed, you can see we're 3-0 up now. We've changed nothing. We've stayed with the same tactics. We've stayed with the same instructions, same formation. We've stuck to the game plan. We're 3-0. We should have been 4-0 if we'd scored that penalty. So we're only 1 goal away from getting max points. And we've not done anything, you can see, playing the game. We've not done anything too out there. We've not done anything outlandish that's sort of impossible. You know, we're not doing any skill moves that it's kind of like, holy crap, how the hell do you do that? We've not done anything overly difficult, overly strenuous. We've just sort of played the game. We've passed and moved. We've made some good options, good choices. We've missed a few chances, but overall we've played the game pretty simply. You know, sometimes the best way to play against the AI is to just play simple. It might sound silly, but sometimes the best way to play is to play simple. Sometimes I think people try and overcomplicate the game, and no doubt that has its place. You know, when you play against top level opponents, you need to have more things in your repertoire. But when you play on squad battles, the squad battles, it doesn't do anything complicated. It doesn't do anything difficult. You just need to sort of be patient with it. You know, does the computer ever skill or anything like that? You just need to sort of play quite simply. Hold possession, move the ball around quickly. You know, the one thing you have to do, you have to move the ball around fast. You know, if you're moving the ball around slowly, you're not going to get any opportunities. You're just going to allow the computer to shift from side to side and just find it very, very easy to get through. You know, even just trying to pace or in behind it doesn't really work too much. You've got to move the ball around. You've got to just trap them in their final third and you've just got to hold possession, and those chances will come. You can see, as I said, with 3-0, we do eventually get the 4-0. I should have played in Werner there, actually, watching this back, because Werner was in there. That probably would have been 4 with the pen, could have been 5, and then the goal that we do eventually score, that would have been 6. Again, I should have played in Dembele there, because that would have been 4-0, but you can see how the chances do appear themselves. Played a couple of games last night on Ultimate as well. I managed to get a 5-0, a 4-1, another 5-0 as I'm looking at the screen now. I managed to get some very, very good wins, you know, and I wasn't doing anything too strenuous. I have changed my team slightly since then. I'm now playing with Lucas, with Fabinho, with Roberto Firmino, Felipe Anderson. I want to hopefully get Neymar in there at left wing. We've got Alex Telles as well, so I've kind of gone Brazilian on that left side. But it's not too dissimilar from the team I'm using now. So that's the team I'm using at the moment, and that's what's been very effective for me of recent, getting 4 or 5-0s. But in terms of my new team compared to this, instructions are the same, the tactics are the same, the formation's exactly the same. Sometimes I switch into the 4-2-3-1. I think for squad battles, 4-2-3-1's a little bit defensive because it's all about scoring goals. Hence why I've got the 4-3-3 attack at the moment. You need something a little bit more aggressive, but overall you can see that we've not done anything too difficult when we've played the computer. I think we do get our 4th goal here with Sancho. I believe it's Sancho we get this 4th goal with. It might be with Werner. Just got to see how this play develops. I think it's Werner, so we'll get Havertz in behind. Again, Havertz should cross goal, and that's 4-0. And if we'd have scored the penalty, we'd have got that 5-0. And we haven't, as I said, we haven't done anything too difficult. We've just sort of played the game, been patient. The chances have come, and the reason why having better players helps is because you don't get that many chances, so you do need to be very, very clinical, because you don't get too many chances to score your goals. So when you do get your chances, you need the better players to help you finish them. But we had Kai Havertz in there, who is a very good player this year in FIFA, managed to get us a hat-trick and get us a 4-0. Unfortunately, if we'd have scored that pen, I was seething after the game. If I'd have got that pen, I would have got the 5-0. I think we ended up with around 2,700 points, but you can see we dominated the game. There's a couple of chances for AI, but did they really ever look like scoring against us? It was very, very easy. Hence why I recommend. So we did actually get nearly 2,900 points. So if we would have got that 5th goal, we actually would have been around 3,050 points. And that's why I recommend playing against the lower rated teams, because it's very easy to not concede and you do get a good amount of chances to score your goals. But that is it for the how to get more points on Ultimate. Nothing too easy, nothing too difficult. It's not any tips or tricks or hidden secrets. It's just about playing the game and being patient and using these sort of tactics and going into your games and trying them. But make sure you have a good understanding of how to beat Legendary first before you go and try and beat Ultimate. But if you do want to see more videos like this, guys, make sure you drop a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well if you're new to the channel. If you have any other questions, do put them in the comment section. I'll be doing my best to answer every single one. But that's all today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.